morning. Let's go, chat. Let's go, Lions. Yeah, Kimba Gang, let's get it.
Previously on Kimba TV.
So based off of this 5-minute structure, okay? Like, this is the failed auction that I'm talking about. Like, this was the resistance. It should have been support. That's what, in my opinion, and then this looks like another bearish retest to me on the 5-minute. Okay? So if I'm somebody that got filled all the way through here and my average entry is like right here, I actually have entries like from here and here and here too. Because I got filled on some of this. We can show it if you want. But basically once this is broken, and I kind of talk about it right around, I can't remember if I do it when it makes a lower low here or if it's doing a bearish retest or once it broke. But you can go back and time it and see exactly when I said it. So Guru, what's going on? Baratinha, Fibception, I'm Sin, Latisse, Dahmer, what's going on? Julian, what's going on? Settlement is, yes, we gotta redo everything. This is from last night. Uh, 82710. Yeah, but everything else is the same. So value area low, all that stuff. Opened right at value area high. We're going to be looking for a shade under 86. So let's do the VWAP here. Fred in the building. Frederico in the building. Buzzo in the building. Deshorsky. Let's get it, chat. Let's get nasty on them. Got a long stream today. We got a lot of work done yesterday. Golly, we got a lot of work done yesterday. Let's get it. Let's get that juicy Maguchi. It's easy money. Any question? Oh my God, is that a fucking spaceship or is that a Bugama? What the fuck? The fuck am I so? What the fuck are we supposed to do with that?
What the hell is even that?
That's what I'm saying. What the fuck? I mean, we're just gonna keep the Bugamas as is, okay? I'm not gonna put fucking UFOs on my fucking chart. So we're just gonna keep the Bugamas the way they are, unless we have 57. Yeah, I'm not gonna change this. 57, 55. I'll lower this down. Yeah, we're just going to keep everything the same. So clean the lows, I guess, and then pump. All right, well, fingers crossed. I would love to see that line lost. Okay, let's keep an eye on this. One, two, three. Okay. Okay. All right, I am set for today. How you guys doing, Choopy? So Guru says 85,080 MPOC for today is good for TP. Say what? Maybe. Yeah, because I mean, that's probably a short right there. Yeah. Yeah, so if you have a long, I think I would be aiming for 86 if it was going to go higher. But I think down if it loses that trend line. Aizen says, please get that high before. Oh my God. Well, the first thing that I would say, Aizen, is it's Macaulay Culkin time right now, which means that CME isn't going to grab that high if derivatives grab it. So even if you got it swept right now, the chances that CME would actually go and grab it, and you would guess, you would have to look for another. Sometimes you can get a lower high, but you would have to sit through that sort of pump for CME to clean it too. And even if it doesn't get it, something to think about is that you should have a plan on if this just went, would you chase it on this move? Or would you chase it on the bearish retest of that floor getting lost? So I think as long as you have a plan, Aizen, you should be all right. You want to get a short. That's why you wanted to sweep. Yeah, just remember, even if it did sweep right now, if it really is supposed to be swept, then CME is going to go back and do it anyways. So
Latuche, motherfucker, the math is the math!
that's that Latuche chat. That's that Latuche. That's that Latuche, boys. Are messed up highs and lows that occur during RTH more probable to be cleaned during RTH versus ETH? Or does it just depend? Well, at the end of it all, it depends. But one thing that you can be rest assured about, Omar, is which one has more volume, RTH or ETH? And whatever happens, which one has a higher probability of being a fake? The low volume when it happened with low volume, or when it happened with good volume? So those two questions are kind of generalizable with the answer. So yeah, you got it. Yeah, but at the end of the day, though, it has things to do with things like confluence and S&P. I've seen single prints and gaps get left behind on Bitcoin because traditional markets were already pumping or dumping. And just because it's a bad low or a bad high, it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to grab it or clean it within your time frame. You might think that it should do it that day, or within the next 48 hours, or before it makes a significant move, or before it changes a higher time frame structure. But I mean, look at the RTH ETH high. It left that 110 up there and it didn't clean it. So yeah, it'll definitely be influenced by like other traditional markets. Ronu says, Kimba, is it possible to help one Lion Cub squad organized on Discord to squeeze the shorts on fun? Can we organize anything like that? It's not going to work. Yeah, Aron, that just kind of tells me like you got to math up a little bit. All right. One of like the cutest and the funniest things that I'll hear is Mario or some idiot will be like, Kimba got everybody in a short, or Kimba got everybody in a long. They're all going to get stopped. Dude, nobody cares. You need millions and millions and millions of dollars, billions really, to move anything significant. So you're probably looking at like retail tools and you're thinking to yourself, oh, if we just had this much, we could do a short squeeze. You're getting got. Yeah. So that's not how markets work, Ronu. And if anything, if you're thinking that you and a couple of people are going to be able to start a liquidation cascade, you really got to take a step back and redo some of the math in your head. All right. So, yeah, like remember that, let's say, for example, I have $10, right? If I take that $10 and I 10x it, okay, the market maker or whoever takes my shit, they still only get to take $10, okay? Whereas if someone were to spot buy, all right, $100 worth, that's $100 of real liquidity that can get shifted around. So if you really want to try to move markets, you need to buy spot, okay? Not some like high leverage shit. So yeah, but you gotta do the math, the tokenomics. Like if you have 500 million, we might be able to do it. But even on a shit coin with really low market cap, there are so many little nuances and things that are in the back end that yeah, you just got to redo the math if you think you can do anything. Yeah, but we could liquidate our entire net worth, all of us in Kimba Gang. Put that bitch on 100x and market smash, and Bitcoin won't do anything. Hey, that's you in Discord. Yeah, we're going to pump it. We're going to pump it, guys. We're going to pump it. Yeah. Actually, that bitch went high. That bitch actually went high. That surprised me. I thought that bitch was just going to go pew. That shit actually flew. See, America needs to step the fuck up, because you see, that's what the fuck I'm talking about. Because you pull up the average 6-year-old in America, they're doing dances on TikTok. Okay? India fucking making goddamn I aim one says close my short before the dump. Why? Why? As long as you had a logical reason and it wasn't because like it was an emotional decision, then I think it's okay. But we had so many good, that I'm in a short, right? I am one. There's no real reason to close it. I would love it, bro, if we could get away with this short and go all the way to 70K. Can you imagine? I told homie earlier in the day, I don't know if you were here, but you've got an opportunity to think about, do you think there's going to be a bearish retest? And or did you just want to front run this? With the idea of maybe adding if it does do that. But you don't have a guarantee on a retest, especially since it's making its move during aftermarket. Sian says, is this settlement to value area? There is no such thing. It's value area low to value area high, value area high to value area low. It's value rotation. Settlement, point of control, all of those things can just act as resistance and support. But when you're talking about rotation, you're talking about the bottom of value to the top or the top to the bottom. Yeah, so like this is what I would say, Sion. In this case, like let's say for example, it has a bearish gap and it opens below value area low. You would be looking for a value area low, single print, or VWAP bearish retest. If it opens bullish above value area high, you would be looking for settlement bullish retest. So it's just a matter of understanding like, okay, is the settlement above the previous session value or below? Because most of the time that's going to influence things like VWAP. So is it above VWAP? Is it above settlement? All of those things will kind of change into like what will be resistance and what would be like a threshold, you know? So above settlement, bullish, below, bearish. Yeah, but that's why, Sion, since I'm not going to be here tomorrow streaming, I will watch this shit all the way to the last minute to see where we are, you know, because it makes a difference if it bounces off of the VWAP, which is right on the single print. I mean, this is RTH, so let's go back to ETH. It's going to make a difference if it bounces off of the single print or the VWAP. And it's going to make a difference if it bounces off of this one. And it's going to make a difference if we start to build value below value area low. So for right now, like we just said, value area high is right here. You see it? Value area low, right? You see it right there? So this is your full rotate range because it's just value. Sounds good, Sion? So that's why I'm going to just kick it with you until the last minute before I have to dip out for my flight. And then you'll have the most up to date on what I think is the highest probable thing. So ZZZ, what's going on? On some real shit, never met someone as consistent as you. You're very unique. I don't know if I'm very unique, to be honest with you, ZZZ. I would always want you to have the mentality that if my ass can do it, bro, you can do it. On some real shit, am I really doing anything that difficult, ZZZ? I mean, let's break it down into two sections. I identify levels and I read the data. So in terms of identifying levels, I'm looking at volume-based levels. I don't think it's really that hard to do a fixed range volume profile or pull an anchor VWAP. I don't think it's really that hard to look for TPO levels like value area high or value area low, just like how we do with session-based, right? I don't think it's that hard to look at settlement. I don't think it's that difficult to remember patterns. So if you open outside, below, above, or inside, you know if it's a long or a short. I don't think it's that difficult to be able to look at higher lows and higher highs and see divergences, whether it's on CVD or div, you know. I don't think it's really that hard to look at open interest and be able to see if longs, shorts are trapped underwater or got stopped. And so I can always understand that maybe with experience you can build confidence and maybe have a little bit of an advantage over somebody that has a smaller sample size, but for the most part, yeah, I mean, I would fully expect ZZZ for you to be able to do everything that I do. In fact, the whole point is for you to get caught up and aim to be better, because I'm trying to be better than what I was yesterday, last week, last month, last year. So get caught up and hurry up and help me. Everybody's like, yo, Kimba, where TP, where stop? Why? Nobody's ever worried about me. Some of y'all need to help me. You know? Why nobody worried about me? Why nobody want to help me? So get caught up, figure this shit out, and then let's work together. I got to work at 6 a.m., so I'm gonna head to sleep soon. Sounds good, AO Gains. If you want, just peep the last 20, 30 minutes of the stream. Okay? So I'm gonna assume, AO Gains, that we're talking about looking for a bearish retest. Okay? If you're not in a short already. So, but I have my own subconscious biases too, clearly. So, take everything that I say with a grain of salt. I'm just a random guy on the internet with a giant bong in front of his face. So, if you want to go all in listening to me, that's kind of, shame on you. Fred, you good? Omar says, I'm honestly not entirely sure where to put my stops in profit for this in case it bounces when I'm asleep. Is rule of thumb the 618? So, Omar, there's a couple of things that I would say to that. And I think understanding what I'm saying is the most important thing. So, yes, if you don't want to get stopped out, what Fibonacci level should you usually put it behind? If you want to maximize profits, what should you usually put it behind? So some people are going to say 786. Some people are going to say 886, Omar. So that's damn near a full round trip, is it not? If you want to maximize profits, you need to close the whole thing at 382 because you've already pissed away damn near 40% of your maximum profits. So that's the book strategy, okay? Now, how many times have you seen lower lows, higher highs, Fibonacci levels that should have been support but loses it, just get pinked and then reverse right back? So you need to couple the basic strategy with some basic common sense that these markets exist to stop people out, to reallocate capital. So you can understand by the book, but you also don't want to get got. And isn't that the whole objective? So first things first, Omar, you need to make up a decision on, is it really more important for you to realize profits? Do you need to up your capital? Have you been taking a couple losses, or are you up big? Are you playing with profits? Okay? Because if your last 3 trades were L's, and I don't care how small of an L it was, you have no fucking business round tripping a winning trade. That's not by the book. So, it kind of depends. What you need to weigh, Omar, is the high is bad. Okay? On RTH. However, RTH has left a shit ton of bad highs and a shit ton of bad lows. Okay? Do you think that you're going to get another opportunity to get into a short if you get stopped out on a Wednesday? Even if you get it tomorrow, do you still want to take it? You are aware of all the tariff narratives, correct? So there is no right or wrong. So that should immediately give you relief, right, Omar? Now, at the end of the day, Omar, you know what your entry is, right? And you know what your size is, right? So if I were to say, hey, brother, if you shave, I want you to save 33% behind the 382. So like this. Okay, let's just say that that's the local low. I want you to shave 33% here, 33% here, and 33% here. Okay? You know exactly what your realized P&L would be, right? Roughly, given, give or take a little bit off of like market and fees, right? If I said, bro, just close the whole thing behind the 382, you know how much you would be, right? Run those hypothetical scenarios. So if I do this, I get this much. If I do this, I get this much. There's really only going to be 1 or 2 that you're okay with. Most of the time, it's just a matter of doing that. People are so lazy, they won't even do that. And then they're going to talk to me about, oh my God, I should have shaved here, here, and here. Yeah, no fucking shit. Like, why would you not even just run through the hypotheticals so you can see with your own eyes what your unrealized profit would be? Sometimes it's just a matter of seeing, oh shit, if I did this, I would make 9,000. But if I do this, I can make 11,000. But if I do this, I can get 18,000. Fuck, let me do this. So you just want to be prepared, you know? If you calculated all the hypotheticals and there's only one that you like, then that's okay because you're happy with regardless of what happens, you know? And maybe you try that like 5-10 times and you realize it's not that Gucci, then you can adapt. So, chasing home runs gets you round tripped, kinda. It depends. And it totally is like kind of up to you and how you can trade. If you can spend time to look at, you know, smaller time frames and keep an eye out on invalidations, and or if you just wanted to make it easy and put a trailing stop, then that's okay too. Yeah. The thing is, you got to, this is what I do, Atkin, and maybe you should try this as well. But I have, let's say, exchange 1, exchange 2, exchange 3. So like tap bit. Okay. Maybe MEXC. Okay, and then I have Kraken. Okay, and then I have KCEX. Okay, and then I have Blowfin. Oops. Okay, if you've been paying attention, most of my entries are pretty much identical, right? So on this guy, I might close everything as soon as the trailing stop hits negative 15%. Meaning if I'm in a long and if it pulls back 15% from the previous high, I'm out. Okay? This one, I might close everything behind the 382. Okay? This one, I'm going to close 33% behind the 15, 33% behind the 382, and 33% after the .5. This one, I'm going to close everything behind the golden pocket. And this one, I'm going to just put stop loss at break even. And see after a month, after 6 months, after a year, which one actually makes you the most amount of money. They're all going to have pretty much identical entries, right? Or maybe this one, you put your stop loss immediately into break even. And then this one, you put your stop loss after 5-minute structure change. But if you don't do this shit, how the fuck are you going to know the way that you trade is actually the most profitable? You know? So, Omar, I don't know what the right thing is for you to do is, but there are very easy, common sense, hypothetical scenarios that you can run through. And what do we always preach in Kimba Gang, Omar? Just don't get got, and there's no surprises. So you know where your entries are. You know what your average size is. So you should be able to calculate every single hypothetical scenario that your little heart could possibly come up with and just do that. And then even at that point, maybe after a month or 2 months or 6 months, you're like, nah, this ain't me. Maybe you adjust something and then you keep track and you just, that's all it is. It's just a continuous journey of trying to perfect and fine tune your ROI. All right. Omar says, I think I have an idea. I have 2 separate entries on the short. The higher size one is actually a lower entry, so I got to calculate which one is more worth opening for longer. Yeah, and Omar, trust the process and believe in yourself that you're going to be able to take many trades. So don't be so pressured into subconsciously thinking that you have an amazing entry, that you have an amazing trade. You're never going to be able to get something like that ever again. So you got to hold on to it for as long as you can for, whatever reason. Trades are like girls, dude. They come and go, bro. You understand? So don't be the guy talking to me about, oh my God, Kimba, I know this is my first girlfriend ever, but I think I'm in love. I think I found my wife. Shut the fuck up.
Not enough Latucci.
To 13. Okay, let's start with taking your braces off.